Welcome to Shamford. I'm Jessel, and here we discuss all things 3D printing. Today we have a small portion of the larger home theater build that I've been working on last few months. And the goal for the day, specifically, is to mount this digital clock above the screen. And I have an infrared transmitter that I want to mount next to the clock as well. Now, both of these devices, they run on 5-volt DC, so I could hang a battery in the same area and power them through that. But given how the transmitter is Wi-Fi enabled and this will basically be illuminated with LED all day, every day, I think the battery will need to be pretty massive unless I want to climb up there every other day or so. I took some measurements at the bench, and between the two devices, they collectively use about 1/5 of a watt, which is a lot less than I thought originally. I was thinking maybe a full watt for the whole system, but apparently they're very efficient. Going off of that number, 0.2, if I take a big battery like this and decide to hang it on my wall, which I wouldn't do, but just pretend, this has the capacity of 63 watt hour at 5 volts. So that will give me about 2 weeks, give or take, which is not bad. But again, I'm not hanging this on my wall. So what if I take a smaller battery that actually has a chance of, say, going behind the clock, something like that? This could work. This has less than half the capacity compared to the big boy. So we're talking maybe 6 days before the battery runs out. And I don't want my TV remote or other devices to go offline every 6 days. So I think the only remaining option is to have the system be connected to the receptacle. Here's what I'm thinking. I have this junction bracket thingy that is meant for running low voltage wires behind the drywall, and there's a receptacle straight down from where I'm going to have the clock. So I'll put one at the bottom and put one at the top. The bottom one's easy. It will look something like this with 5-volt in feed. Probably going to use a USB interface, 2-pin USB. And for the top, which is the one that's going to be more interesting, I'm going to build a custom faceplate that will allow me to put this whole unit inside the wall cavity, like something like this, and have some kind of mounting mechanism for the clock as well. And the end goal is to make it look professional. So yeah, let me take this idea to Fusion and see what I can come up with. Okay, here are the two pieces I came up with. First, the bottom, the simpler of the two. We have 2 USB ports on a standard Decora style plate. I thought I had some keystone laying around, but I couldn't find any, so Decora it is. We only need 5-volt circuit for this particular project, but since I'm doing all the work of fishing the wires and installing everything, I was like, what the heck? Let's just add a second circuit just in case. Maybe I could use for 12-volt in the future. This piece will go on the bracket like this, and a standard household faceplate will go on. And all the rough edges that you see, they will all be invisible. This model is supposed to be printed like this on the build plate, and all the top surfaces will be clean, but I did it upside down on purpose, by the way. And that's because I prefer the look of the textured PEI imprint on the face, on the exposed face, as opposed to this top shell look that we get from 3D printed parts. So I did this on purpose, just for the looks. And yeah, lastly for this piece, I went with white because all the existing receptacles and plates are all white near the baseboard. So I wanted to color match. So this is white, but the second piece is going to be green because we have a green wall. So yeah, as you can see, this is how it's going to look from the outside. There's a little hook or a screw that I put. because the LED has a keyhole where you can go like that, and you can just plug that in. So yeah, this is how it's going to look from the outside. On the inside, I've done some wiring. This is USB, micro USB powering the transmitter, and the transmitter is just friction fit. And obviously this is the circuit we're using today for 5 volt, and like I said, this is the backup, potentially 12 volt in the future. So this bracket will go horizontal on the wall because I don't want to take up too much space vertically. So it will go on like that, and when we put the cover on, yeah, everything is all flush. I made this little cable for powering the clock. I wish I had a 90-degree elbow, but I didn't, so I just made it like this. But maybe if it bothers me too much, then I'll make another cable. Right now it's okay. Like, it sticks out a little bit, and it will probably bug me for the first couple of days, but I probably won't look at it anymore after the first couple of days, so I think it's gonna be okay. The clock's been installed, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. The plate looks a little too bright on the screen, but in reality it's a lot darker, and it really blends nicely with the wall behind it. The wall is almost black in real life. I think the camera is raising the exposure a little too much. As for the location, this is in the front left corner of the room, which is not where I wanted to install. At first, I wanted to have the clock right over there in the middle of the screen, but there's a stud right there. And this corner is the next best location I could think of. Now we come down here where there's a receptacle. This is not the same receptacle I was talking about earlier in the video, but there happens to be another one in the corner of the room, so I got lucky here. There's a transformer feeding the 5 volt circuit, which leads to what we were just looking at just a moment ago. It had a much longer cable before, and I was thinking about just zip tying it so I can use it later on, but at the same time, I have maybe 30 or 40 of those laying around, so I was like, meh, might as well just cut it. So I tried to make it the perfect length and terminate it with the USB-C on the other side. So yeah, that's all for this video. I hope you got something out of it, and if anyone's interested, I can make the model available for download, so let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.